Hey everyone, Brian Stevenson here, and today I want to talk about going analog and why getting back to classic pen and paper can help you build your business and build better relationships. Now, the reason I want to talk about this today is because there's a great opportunity for professional service providers to market themselves online, to use digital options to build their business, to engage in relationship building and business development activities online. However, there's also a great opportunity to go back to some classic techniques and differentiate yourself by using pen and paper to create some personalized relationships and help embed the relationships that you have with clients in a more unique. Now, the reason I want to talk about this today is because professional service providers have a great number of tools to build their business in a digital way through marketing and business development activities that can be done online. However, I do want to emphasize that there's a great opportunity as well to supplement that sort of growth through differentiating activities. One of the ways you can differentiate yourself in a busy marketplace is by doing something that not as many people do anymore. And that is, like I mentioned, reverting to some pen and paper activities and doing some more personalized interactions with clients. So today, just to share a little story, I had a client that I assisted with a transaction a few years ago. After the transaction completed, I wrote them just a pretty brief card saying congratulations and it was great meeting you, and a few personalizations in there about the things I learned about them during the transaction, and sent that off and hadn't heard from them for a year or two. Then recently, I have now received referrals from them for a few different things, including a referral to their daughter who is engaging in her first home purchase and their own estate planning and these other matters. Now, this is all coming up as a result of them thanking me for the way that I reached out to them after the transaction completed. They said it really made an impact, and that's why they were so excited to use my services again, because they felt that I truly cared about their family and about their best interests. So when it comes to thinking about how you're going to build relationships and develop business, consider going analog, and I'll share 3 ways that I think you can do that most effectively. One of the best ways to ensure that you actually engage in relationship building activities is to include that in your process. Now, when I say process, I mean the timeline or the interaction space that you typically have with clients, whether that's as a result of closing a transaction or reporting on a transaction or doing quarterly review updates or whatever you may do in your particular business. Think about where in that process you could integrate the relationship building activity of writing a congratulatory note or just a quick update thing or some sort of means of communication that will be personalized to that client, that can be a quick part of what you're doing. I recommend that it's a part of something that you're doing really recently after having met with a client, because everything will be fresh. That interaction will be fresh for you, for them, so that when they do receive it, maybe a week or two later, there is still a bit of a connection between yourself, that interaction, and the client. And it's just a reinforcing mechanism for that relationship that you're attempting to build. So consider where in your processes you can automate this, because there needs to be consistency when you're trying to engage in these activities. You need to be consistent in the way that you're doing it. Otherwise, you're just going to do 1 or 2 and it seems like a good idea, and then everything falls apart when things get busy. So consider your process. Now, the second thing to consider, and this is something I don't need to harp on because I've mentioned it a few times, is personalize that interaction. So we want to try to avoid any feeling of a mass mail out or just a routine type thing, because those types of interactions are becoming increasingly like white noise in our society. We're constantly getting bombarded by generalized messaging and ads and marketing attempts. So when it comes to the interaction that you're trying to have with your client in an analog fashion, try to personalize as much as you can. Integrate some of those interactions that you the personal conversations that you had with the people. Integrate those. Do that. Now, in addition to the personalization, you actually want to handwrite this card. Now, I have to emphasize this because you don't want to be typing these things out and then printing them and then putting them in an envelope and sending those out. People see typeface way too much these days. You're either getting emails or your text messages. People rarely see actual handwritten stuff these days, and your handwriting may not be that good anymore. People lose practice as well. But the important thing is that this fact that you take the time and actually write it shows more of a commitment, shows more of a dedication to trying to build a relationship, because I took time to use my poor penmanship to try to relay a message to you, and it can be impactful a lot more so than just a simple text or an email. So consider using handwritten options when you are engaging in your analog type activities. And so if you want to build better relationships and drive more business, I highly recommend that you try going analog. If anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out directly. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to share it, go ahead and do that as well. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye.